Yeah, see here. So as I mentioned already, just I want to create a simple text box and along with the a button. So that for that, first I will create a HTML page and then I will tell you one by one. So are you people? Can anyone confirm that? Are you able to see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, see, every time when we are going to be starting HTML page creation, so first line we will start with doc type. So it is indicating what version currently we are consuming or using. So this doc type HTML is indicating we are currently using HTML5. So for all HTML pages, the root element of the starting tag we are using as HTML, and for every tag there will be a closing tag. So like this is we call start tag and this is we call end tag, as like you're programming open curly bracket close curly bracket. So this is indicating one block, or I can say that one element. So within this whatever we are going to be writing, that belongs to the HTML. Similarly, each HTML document consists two sections, head and body. So whatever the content you are able to see here, so if you are able to see here, so this entire content we call body. Whatever the content you are able to see on the top of the browser, like this information or the some meta calls, that we call header part. Okay, so header is for browser basically, like meta information, and the body is for the customer can able to see the content. So likewise we can divide the respective section into two parts. One is head. As I mentioned, every tag there is a start tag and there is a end tag. So there is a body. So in the head part, as I mentioned, we can write something called title, so which is nothing but your web page title. So title, I'm giving a simple example and I'm closing the title. And now body, just I'm giving a tag called h1. H1 means heading, it will give you a little big size. So let's take, I'm giving welcome to web designing. Okay, so now I'm closing the h1. As I mentioned, for every tag there is a opening tag and closing tag. So first we will go bit by bit. So when we are saving this and when we view in the web browser how it looks like, we'll see. As I mentioned, and it's pure HTML document, it's a static document, it doesn't give any styles or anything, it just give the black and white. Really it is happening or not, we will see now. So I'm just clicking on save as, and wherever you want you can save in your mission, but extension must be .html. It should not be other than that, because we can't execute in the browser other than .html, or .html is also okay. Okay, so I'm just saving in the F drive. So I'm creating a folder called intern batch, as I mentioned. So in that I'm creating a new folder called HTML. So where I'm saving these files. Okay, so just I'm saving welcome.html. So this is the first page I'm going to be creating, saving. So now you just go to the respective folder after saving. So here intern batch we created, as I mentioned. So under that HTML, open that. So you are able to see the web page what just we know we created. So if you save the document with using .html, automatically it will take the default browser as a opener. So just you can open with any browser. It's up to you. See all the browsers whatever we are have in my mission is showing the option. Just I'm using Google Chrome. Okay, so you can able to see that welcome to web design. See it's a little big size is coming because of h1 tag. And also if you observe here, so here see example is came as a title because of the title what we used in the head part. So the content whatever we written in the head, that will come here, and the content whatever we are typing in the body will come here. So that is the difference between head and body. I hope you understand. So is it clear everybody? As of now is clear everybody? Anyone can confirm? Hello, are you able to hear my voice?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, great.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, if you are not really willing to speak out, just you can use the any we have that like thumb icon, some icons are there, right? You can use it that also, so that I can also understand by that also. Okay, yeah, great. Yeah, next. So the next point is, just as I mentioned already, so I want to create a simple form, so that will give have a text box and button. So for that I'm using form tag. So to be precise, see in HTML what you're going to be learning these tags only, Nana. So what are these tags which are available in the HTML, and what is the use of the respective title? Like example, what is the use of the title and what is the use of form? That is only we are going to be learning from Monday onwards. Like in HTML, nothing more practical or programmatical. It's more similar to these tags only. So that is how we will learn in the HTML. But today, just for I'm showcasing, I'm using all the things, but these are all will come in your regular classes. Okay. And in the form, I just want to create a text box like enter value, and now I'm doing input type is equal to text, and id is equal to, let's take, I'm giving v1, and I'm closing the button. That's all. So I'm closing the input, and so, enter the value is done, and now we required one button finally. So input type is equal to button, sorry, button, and id equal, don't confuse, these all things will explain once again. Just for today class, I'm taking some simple example. And this is now what the form I created, and once again we'll come back to the web page and we can refresh, so you can able to see the respective columns. See, enter value, text box, you got it. So button is empty box keeping because we didn't give any text to display on the button, so for that we will use value. So now I'm just giving get square. As we discussed, this is the example what we are going to be doing. So now you see, you will get the get square. Yeah, see that. So enter value is coming, and text box and get square. This is all because of HTML. As I mentioned, right, we can able to display the text and we can able to create the forms. So these are all belongs to HTML. But if you observe that the content is black and white combination only coming, no colors, no styles, nothing. So that if you want to add, so we should use CSS. So how to do that, we'll explain now. A very simple example I will give you. Like I just want to give a style to this button, not to more on that. So simply I want to give that. So to do that, we have in a head a attribute called style. So within this style, whatever the styles you want to add, you can add it to the respective web page. So this is the CSS part. Now whatever the before we written, that is only HTML content, that is over. Now we are adding CSS styles to the respective component which we are using in the body. So now let us assume that to this button I want to give some background color as a blue color, as I mentioned. So to implement that styles, we have some selectors and some identities. So that is, either we can use input type button as an identity, or we have an ID. So this also we can use an identifier. So ID is indicating by ash. So ash ID name button, and what is that we want to do, background. See, in CSS we are going to be learning these attributes. What for background color, what is the attribute we will use? For color, what we will use, such kind of. So for color will be, so color I'm using white color. So these are the things which we are going to be learning in the CSS, that attributes, what are the different attributes which are having. See that now blue color you are getting as a background, and white color as a text you are getting, and the border is by default it is a black color. Now you want to change the border color also, yes, you can mention the border also. See, border 1 pixel solid and blue color, as we know. So likewise you can, whatever, see I'm just writing border by knowing, because I know, but you people will understand that all after getting the CSS. So this is help of the CSS we can able to do. So this is what CSS can do. For example, for h1, so whatever the h1 we have header tag, I want to make it color red, assume that. So simply we can write color red, and now the h1 tag will be converted as red color. See, welcome to web design. So likewise, if you want to apply the colors, animations, backgrounds, or any effects or anything, that we can do because of CSS only. Assume that if I'm hovering on the get square button, like when I hover, the color, let's take example, the color should convert into red, I can say that. So in that case, we can write, see here, ash button hover. So when we hover on that, so what should be done? Background color should be, background color should be red, as I mentioned. So now we can go again. So now you see, when I hover on, see the background color is changing. So these all sort of things we can achieve by using CSS. So first one, the content what we have, we can display by using HTML. The second, whatever the styles or alignments or positions, these are all we can do by using CSS. And third, see, if I'm click on get square, nothing is happening, because as I mentioned, it is static, it cannot do anything. But if I want to perform some action on these, now JavaScript will introduce. So JavaScript will do this action. When we click on this button, whatever the value we have here, if I click on, 49 should be there, should be getting. But if you want to do, you should include JavaScript in the web page. So that is the way these three collaboratively will work together and will give you a customized and more effective web page to the customer. Is it clear up to now? Any doubts as of now? Any doubts as of now?
No, sir.
Great. So now I'm writing a very simple script. See, script also we generally use to write in the head only. Script. So script is indicating JavaScript. So this we will write as part of your script. Now, as like your other languages, in script we will write the functions. So each function will responsible for one action. So if you want to do square, one function should be written. If you want to do some kind of calculation, another function should write. Likewise, how many actions you want to trigger in the respective web page, that many functions we should be created in the JavaScript, as like your Java and Python. So now in JavaScript we will write a function by using the function keyword only. There is no special things we have to take care, simply function only. So function followed by function name. So I'm taking get square as a function name. So here this is the syntax for writing the function in JavaScript. So function keyword followed by function name, and within that whatever the code you want to write, that code you should write in the function. Now what is the expected here in our case? We should read the value from this text box and then we have to display the square of it. Very simple way. Okay. So now to read that value, they given an inbuilt method called document dot get element by id. So this is inbuilt method where you need to specify the ID of the respective component which you want to read. Here the ID is V1, and within this you want to read the value, whatever the customer will enter that value. So just specify the value. And now whatever the value we read here, that value should be stored in some variable called like where x I'm taking. So generally in Java we'll write int float, right? In JavaScript is very straightforward. You need not to mention any data type, just mention where. Where is a common, whereas let generally. So these two keyword is a generic keyword for every data type. You need not to change the int to float or float to something like that. Generic keyword we can use to define the variable. And now that value what we have in the text box, that we are getting here. So now just we want to display the simply what is the square of it, right? So I'm using alert. Alert means some pop-up will come x star x. So x star x means simply it will show the square of it. I can say that. Okay. So now I think before going to that execution, someone asked the doubt. So I will go there. Yeah, so the doubt is, sir, we should write all CSS styles in head tag only. Yes, Nana. See, actually, at the time of CSS, I will explain, but shortly I will go through that question. We can apply the CSS in three ways, Nana. One is inline, internal, external. That means you can apply the CSS in head as similar to the case what I shown to you, and also you can apply the CSS in the body itself, and also you can write CSS all together as a separate file and you can link to the HTML. So these are the three options we have, but in the CSS when we go detailedly I will explain how what are the types and how we can implement. But as of now, just to understand I'm telling, but it's not only this way we can do, we have three ways to implement. Is that question clarified now? Yeah, great. So any other doubts before going for execution? Any other doubts for anyone?
Dot value ఎందుకు వచ్చి-
Yeah, Sinana. So because here if you come back to here the program, so now what we want when we click on the get square, what we want generally the value which we are having in this text box. Am I right? So that means the 7 what he entered that we want to read. So to read that 7 we will use the value. So dot value will help you to read this particular 7 from the text box. So here the ash v1 is indicating text box and the dot value is the value which is there in the text box. Is the point clear, clarified? So see here, here ID v1 we written, right? So this v1 is indicating your text box. So that is up to here document.getElement by ID up to here. Now within the text box what we require, the value which entered by the customer. So for that only dot value. Now finally this x contains 7. Now we require power of 7, so that's why I written 7 into 7, that x into x. Is it clear now, the logic?
Yes, sir.
Great. So now our logic is done. See, we are creating a simple function and where we implement the logic, and now we'll try to run this particular code now. Okay. Yeah, see here. So I just run it and I'm entering again 7 and I click on the get square. See that? Even though we written the function, but you are not getting the output. Why? Because you created a JavaScript function. Yes, that's absolutely right. But you didn't link this function to HTML, because HTML independently does not have capability of reading the functions in the script. You need to link it, you need to map it. So when we want to run that function, because as you all people know that functions does not execute themselves, so function always need to triggered by someone. It is a well known fact always. So a function can be executed by someone to call it, that is only we call calling function. Similarly here also, whatever the function we written in the script that cannot execute automatically, so that you need to map on the on which component you want to trigger it. Here in this case, if you consider, when we click on the button, this function has to be triggered. So when you click on the button, that is indicating by on click basically. So when we click on click off button equal to, so what need to be triggered? The function what we created, get square. So this is the again a common syntax what we are using in the JavaScript. So get square. So now when we click on the button, this get square will be called. So automatically when it's called, whatever the lines of code we written in the respective function will be triggered out. So now you see, I'm just going to be running once again. So now when I'm clicking on the respective number, so get square. See that? Now you're getting 49. So this is the alert box, I can say that. And now you can change any other value. Yes, it will give you absolutely the value. See, 10 into 10, 100. So likewise, so you can do some kind of a basic operations. So that is beauty of this particular what we can say that JavaScript. So likewise, you can combine these three technologies together as a single page, where you will get a more interactive, effective, stylish web page to the customer. So customer may feels more comfortable, more what we can say usable, and more feel and GUI, like more user experience, I can say that. So that is beauty of this particular web design. See, backend, how much you are writing, yes, we can accept. There is a great brain work is involving in the backend work, developer, but definitely without proper web designing or proper designing of the page, no backend will impact the customer, as we know already. So how you are good in your inside of your heart, but the outcome, the out what you can say that cloths, I can say that the out way how you are exposed to the customers, or the audience or the people, that is more impressive. So the proverb also we have, like first impression the best impression. So how you are behaving with others external, that is only matter. How you are internally, no one will see that. Similarly, how the functionality internally will be there, it matters definitely, but to that extent how it is can able to user is using, how can easily is interacting, so that is also matters. So that is because we can only get it out through web designing only. A simple thing, how good the backend logic, if it is showing only black and white, definitely I can give the 100% guarantee that no user will use that website, no user will take that website in these days. You will feel it is some fake site, as you will feel something is not really developed site. So that is what the reason people are nowadays, how much they're giving importance to the back end, that much importance we are giving in the front end also. Recent days we are not only focused on back end logic, we are also giving the front end also. That's why we have a scope of front end developers or front end designers. That is what just before told you, React or Angular basically. So like that we can achieve this kind of concept, Anna. So this is all about what we are going to be learning in upcoming days or coming couple of weeks or couple of months. So this is all about your web design, Anna. And now whatever I told you, these are all things are customized, right? So these are all already well defined in the Bootstrap as part of CSS. So that is the fourth component we are covering as part of a web design. So these are the four things like CSS, HTML, Bootstrap and JavaScript you will get to understand to as part of your web design. So as of now, any doubts if you have, ping me in the chat or you can ask. Otherwise, we can close the session for today. So Monday, I will start completely HTML. As I mentioned right now, HTML detail will go one by one. What are the tags we have? What are the use of the tags? And what is the outcome of the tags? Like that, we'll take the each class individually. So if you have any doubts, please raise now. Otherwise, we can go. I will wait for 3 minutes. So within 3 minutes, if you want to ask, if no one, I mean that if no question coming, I will quit the class. So you can ping me in chat, or you can ask directly also. No issues for me. No doubts.